Here are 7 ideas for students who want to make extra money on the side, but I hope these are useful for everyone, not just students. But before we go, I want to talk about side jobs in the way I always do. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wealth Analysis, so you can see more helpful films. I believe one way to watch these kinds of videos, a lot of YouTubers to make movies like these, including me, looking at these could be done with the thought, oh, I just want to click ahead and see what side hustle idea, this magical way of making money. But there isn't a magic way to get rich. Giving something of value to people who are willing to pay for it is the only way to make money. That's the first rule of making money. It's not really about the money, but I hope that if you're watching this, you might be interested in finding another way to make money. It's about how that money can set you free. You should try to make sure that your way of making money is not dependent on just one source of work. I'm excited to talk about side jobs because they have changed my life from the time I was 13 years old until now when I'm 26. Let's start with thought number 1 for a side job: becoming a writer. This fits in well with the material part of what we're trying to do. Another person I'd like to talk about is Jack Reens. He started a great magazine when he was in college, and I think he is still in college at Columbia Business School. So, about 2 years ago, Jack decided to start a magazine where he would write about money, travel, and other things that interested him. He has been doing this for more than 2 years and now has tens of thousands of people reading his blog. He can charge about $1,400 per ad every time he sends out an email. Writing on the internet as a side job could bring in $5,600 a month if he sends out 4 newsletters a week, which is 1,400 times 4. But what Jack is doing is the standard way for writers to make content. They write things often, and over time, people who aren't interested in their work start to follow them. Then you can start making money by selling sponsorships of your work to businesses. These businesses will be happy to support your newsletter, for example. Okay, idea number 2 for a side job is to content creator. This is not the same as a content maker. The difference between a content creator and a content curator is just words. A content creator makes content, while a content curator collects content that other people have already made. These can be done in a lot of interesting ways. Eduardo Morales, who has an Instagram account called Pin Lord, is one example. He chose to start a business where he collects and sells metal pins. It's pretty strange, yes. His Instagram account, Pin Lord, went from having no fans at all to having over 100,000 followers in less than 2 years. This story says that he makes $3,500 a month from this business. First, let's talk about how fast 2 years go by. It took him 2 years to start making a full-time income. If you're watching this and thinking that you have the whole money thing all wrong, it will take a while, especially if you are trying to make things in the J-curve companies of content or products. I'll say more about that later though. Doing these things does take time. Let us look at health as an example. For that kind of money, you would need to get a degree in 6 years and then train for 10 years, at least in the UK. You can't say you want all this money, freedom, fun, flexibility, and other things without also putting in a lot of work over a long period. Idea number 3 for a side job is to create thumbnails. As I said before, we make money by giving something of value to people who are ready to pay for it or who are excited about paying for it. One group of people like this is YouTubers like me. We have cash on hand and are happy to pay because we know how important images are. So if you can create thumbnails for YouTubers, that's a pretty good way to make money on the internet in a way that's fun, free, flexible, and good for your finances, among other things. If you want to work as a thumbnail artist for a YouTuber, all you have to do is copy some of their thumbnails and make them look better than they do now. Don't forget about their business and how they want to make money. You'll almost certainly get a job if you can do that. Because we already talked about it, there are no free ways to make money. You just have to put in some time and work to learn the skill. You need to offer a skill or something of value. It does take time to learn how to give that value sometimes. Okay, being a research assistant is the 4th idea for a side job for students. In this case, the first person is a man named Drew Burney. This person was in the process of getting his PhD and got a job as Mark Manson's study assistant. He talks about how he did it in this video. I was working on my PhD. It was hard for me to take this class. Some people were still coming in while I sat down to study with a group of students. Now that I've thought about it, I'm going to open my laptop and see what Mark has been up to since I last checked in. And the words "I'm hiring" right there in big letters get stuck in my throat. Oh, he's hiring again. I ask myself, what? I read the job description, which said things like, I need someone who can research, write, and be self-motivated. I thought, this is too good to be true. It's not possible. You can't do that. In the same way, our friend Billy Oppenheimer works as Ryan Holiday's study assistant. He got the job by sending a cold email. This is Billy's first email to Ryan in an attempt to get that job. I'm not sure how long Billy and Ryan have worked together, but it's been a while. Some people are willing, able, and happy to pay a lot of money for this very valuable skill that you can offer as a service. Okay, the fifth idea for a side job is to work as a salesperson from home. A lot of people are doing it to make money on the internet right now, but it's a real thing. Being a remote salesperson is based on the idea that many businesses need someone to sell their products to customers over Zoom calls and the phone. And if you can take the calls or Zoom calls from customers, walk them through the process, and help them decide if the product is right for them, you'll get paid a commission every time that product is sold. That's what a salesperson who works from home does. And this guy, Wouter Tuitoy Nissan, I have no idea how to pronounce that, was a 20-year-old student in the Netherlands who tweeted at Scene Puri and gave him free tips on thumbnails. Then Scene liked the free value he gave, so he gave him a job as an intern at his company. Since then, he has sold ads for Milk Road Daily worth $250,000 in 60 days while still going to school full-time. He's pretty much working as a sales worker from home. We're using this as an example, even though it's not a typical job for a remote salesperson. Also, he told us his story, which makes it a cool example. Becoming a web designer is the sixth idea for a side job. Even though this is very old school, it's still crazy how few good designers there are and how much startups are willing to pay for them. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a business meeting where I met a guy who runs a $100 million startup. He told me, we're trying to hire 6 designers, but we can't find anyone good. That's why there's such a need for artists. That sounds like someone I know hired a web designer and paid them $400,000 a year to work full-time at their company as a web designer. But if you want to do it as a side job at first, you need to accomplish 2 things. First, you need to learn the skill and be good at it. Second, it's easy to find people who will gladly pay you for that service as long as you're good and find the right people. The 7th and final side hustle idea is to work as a social media manager. Every business, no matter how big or small, needs skilled social media managers. As a social media manager, your job is to make and plan interesting posts, take care of social media accounts, and keep an eye on analytics. If you are a student and are good at internet marketing and social media, this is a great side job for you. A major in marketing, communications, digital media, or a similar field will help a social media manager do their job better. Upwork users who manage social media can get paid between $14 and $35 an hour based on their experience and skill. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.